Hello and welcome to Elizabeth's Craft Room. Cute project today, and I have to give credit to lovely Dawn at Dawn's Stamping Studio, who did this beautiful idea of a card where it's magic. You pull it up and you get colour. I just absolutely adored it. I wanted to change it up. Now she did she's did one with some monsters, so go and look at her website and I'll put a link on the on my blog for her. She did one with some cute monsters. I wanted to do the Blessed Easter stamp. But the other thing I wasn't so keen on is the card doesn't actually open. You would need to put your greeting on the back. So I wanted to work out a way of doing a card that opens as well. So this is mine. So it's a little narrower than a regular card, but that way we can actually have that open and then that lifts up. And I've actually used our new scallop top punch as well to do the insert, and that saves like a separate step of punching and making the little hole. So let's get started. I will show you how that's done. Right, so the first step is to actually get some texture onto our card. This card I have got as, it's Pear Pizzazz, and I've got it as 27 centimetres by 14.8 centimetres. So that's the normal height for a card in Europe. And then we've got 27 centimetres so that we can actually have score lines at 9 and 18. And that's how we make our triple fold. So the actual front of the card is going to be this piece here. But I'm going to stamp all over, and I'm using Sahara sand and delicate doilies, and just to get a little background image going on. And it doesn't have to be anything very, you don't want it to be too strong because all your focus needs to be on those lovely coloured tulips coming up. So I found that Sahara sand, you could use Versamark as well, and that gives you just a little bit of a background there. Move that just a bit nearer the camera so you can see. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to actually cut with the framelits. Now I have already pre-cut. This is the banner framelit dies, which are new in the Spring Summer catalogue. And I'm just going to pop that out so that I've already cut this one here, and I'm going to use the smaller one. From me, this is number 3 I'm actually using, which is from the inside. So 1, 2, 3 is the one I'm actually using, and that's going to go in here. Now I have measured, so I can tell you, you want this to be about, you want the inside of that die to be about 3 centimetres from the top. That is about 1 1/4 inches. And I'm going to bring the big shot in and just cut. So that's actually cut through now. This is our little aperture that we're going to see through. And while I've got it, I'm just going to pop this little frame on the front, and I'm just going to use some little dots of Tombow just to hold that in place. There we go. Just pop that over, and that gives a nice neat finish onto the front. And while I still have my ink out and about, I'm going to do, I'm making this into a Mother's card, a Mother's Day card, with this set which is called My Mother, and I'm using Your 1 in a Million. I'm going to stamp this in StazOn. And then on what's going to be the inside of the card, which is this piece here, I'm going to do the Happy Mother's Day. There we go. Okay. So that's that bit of stamping done, and I shall set this piece aside for a moment. I'm going to bring in for the next step, to make the piece that pulls out, I'm going to bring in the new scallop tag punch from the Spring Summer catalogue, and I'm going to punch. This is actually, I've switched to inches now, so this is 5 inches by 2 inches. Just because the tag punch is in inches. And then we've got 2 pieces there that line up, and that's very important. And I'm going to bring in my Stamp-A-Jig. I'm going to use that in just a moment. The stamp set I'm using is Blessed Easter. This is a single stamp, but I've actually turned it into 2 separate stamps by cutting off the Wishes for a Blessed Easter and demounting that. You can see a video if you have a little search on how to do that, because I just wanted to be able to use these at all times of year. They're just so lovely. So I am going to ink that up and stamp and stamp onto the Whisper White, and I want that fairly near the bottom there. Okay, that looks okay. Then I'm going to take a little bit of snail and pop it just on the top, and this is going to be covered eventually by the ribbon. But it helps me to get those 2 layers completely lined up. If I push it down, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to be using my Stamp-A-Jig. So I've already stamped the image onto the clear sheet. And if you don't know how to use a Stamp-A-Jig, I would say have a little search, another little search on my videos. And there's one showing you how to do that. I'm going to pop this straight down and putting it right into the corner. Straight down, straight back up again. Now it has skidded a little bit, but I think we'll get away with that. That's okay. So just separating those again for a moment, I am going to colour these in, and you want this to be nice and bold because you want this to really pop when you pull your tag out. So this is in So Saffron, and then I'm also going to use the crushed curry to make that really pop. Get some nice colour into there. And then I'm going to use the Pear Pizzazz for the leaves. Okay, now attach those back together again and get it lined up. And then I'm going to put a little bit of ribbon, and I'm using, in this case I'm actually going to use some seam binding ribbon. You can use whatever you prefer. And I'm going to pop that through, make a loop there, and pull those tails through. There we go. So those are together now. Now the clever little piece here we need is a piece of card. Now this is Whisper White. It's 10 1/8 by 3 inches. And I'm going to take the word window punch. I'm going to line up the edge of the word window punch there and just punch about half of that word window. Once do the same on the other side, line it up with the edge along here, line that piece up there, and there we go. And that's going to be how we do the magic. I will show you how, because that piece pops through there. So see, isn't that clever? I just love it. Thank you, Dawn, for inspiring me. Okay, so we just need to have a little bit of a blocker across the bottom there, just to stop. I'm just cutting a little piece of Whisper White, just to stop it popping out at the top. So you want it about the same width as the piece that you've got. And all I'm going to do, I'm actually going to, for now, I'm actually going to use some Tombow. Put a little line of Tombow across there, And then I'm going to put this, and this is right on the very back of your Whisper White piece. Pop that across, and that's with it threaded through, and then as you'll see, as you pull it up, it will actually not go any further, which is what we're after. Okay, now gluing it into the card, I have a cheat sheet here because I got very confused about where I was gluing and where I wasn't gluing. So the first thing you need to do is to lay this down and make sure that you are happy with the location. So that's where I want that to be. I'm going to flip that over, and then I'm going to put glue all over the back of that piece. So, and I'm going to close this piece down. Okay, give that a good press all over. Make sure that glue has stuck. And there we go. Now, it's now stuck on that side, but I also want to have some glue around the edge. So I'm just going to put some glue round, oh, can you see on that on the camera? Down there and down there. This one is quite close up to the inside edge, so I'm not going to worry about that. But if it was further over, just depending on how you've stamped, you might want to put a line of glue along the inside as well. So that then flips over, and I'm going to press hard along there. If you like sticky strip, you could use sticky strip for this as well, but I'm just using Tombow. It's my favourite glue, as you know. And there you go. We'll now pull that out and push it in. Isn't that clever? I just love that. So here's my square one, and my other demonstration one. So I hope you've enjoyed that video. Have fun with this technique. I think there's so many different stamp sets that will work well with this, and I look forward to seeing them. Thanks for visiting Elizabeth's Craft Room today. I look forward to welcoming you back soon.